This is Monday, July 6th. There are 2 days until San Diego Comic-Con 2015. Welcome to the SDConCast, the official podcast of the San Diego Comic-Con unofficial blog. I am your host, James Riley. The disembodied back of my head is all you will see tonight. Joining me on the podcast is my partner in crime, Carrie Dixon, now known as the OSS, Office Supplies and Spreadsheets.
We may have stolen some office supplies from our office today. Whoops.
Also joining us, Sarah Lacey, our graphics party planning weekly email boy band aficionado expert.
Yes, hello.
And also joining us, Kim Twombly, the official orator of Offsites at Outside Comic-Con.
Hi, everyone.
All right, so since there's drinking and disembodied heads, let's get right into this SDConCast is brought to you by 3D Light Effects, the makers of the innovative cordless 3D Deco Lights. Find the perfect Marvel, Nickelodeon, Hasbro, or Disney light to decorate your or your child's room. And now you can pre-order the brand new Star Wars lights on Target.com, available in Darth Vader, Yoda, or Boba Fett. Visit 3dlighteffects.com or our show notes to find out more. All right, so who's excited for Comic-Con?
Me.
Just Sarah. Nobody else, just Sarah.
I am.
But you wouldn't even know. All right.
Yes, we're all very excited, but we're 2 days out, and so this is the weird period where it's almost here, and I have so much to do.
Exactly. So much to do.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, so let's start with Kim. And what are you most excited for this year's Comic-Con?
It's such a hard question because you actually never know what you're going to end up doing. But, Nerd HQ, we just had a ticket sale, not 45 minutes ago, but was able to get a few tickets this year, so that's always exciting.
You want to tell us about the big one you just got?
I got tickets to the Star Wars Battlefront gameplay live stream thing. I was very excited, I think because everyone else was trying for other things, including my husband. I'm going to go play games. I'm actually really excited for that.
With Battlefront even, which looks incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And with Zach.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, that's going to be super fun.
And then some of it I was able to do yesterday is just to start seeing what's happening in downtown, just all the sites that are springing to life down there. So we have a lot of good stuff to look forward to just from wandering around.
Yeah, so what was some of the stuff that you were seeing yesterday that got you excited?
So we did post a little bit about that on the blog. The wraps are almost done going up. We've a lot of people already saw Conan's on the Marriott, and the Once Upon a Time fans really liked the wrap that's going up on Petco. And I actually haven't seen a finished product of that, but it was looking really good. Kind of scary, because that's where they're heading next season. So, a little spoilers for people that aren't caught up, but...
There's Muppets. I'm excited about the Muppets.
Muppets is cool.
Yeah. I love the Muppets.
So there is a post with a lot of photos on SDCCblog.com for anyone who wants to check that out. Or you can be surprised come Wednesday or when you get into town.
Surprised? Who wants that with Comic-Con?
No, we don't like spoilers.
Okay. Well, since you're outside Comic-Con, that's usually what you get excited about. Is there anything inside Comic-Con that you are looking forward to attending?
I don't know. Yes, so I don't know. I haven't looked at my schedule yet. I'm not a good person. I'm really not a good person to ask about this.
You got 2 whole days to figure it all out, right?
Plenty of
Day and a
time.
half. It's fine.
No, I've played on
Totally
the
fine.
MySCAD app, which is really good, and I just need to kind of get that organized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think everybody's schedule is like that, especially with, like, there's so much last-minute stuff that gets announced. Like, I feel every year I make my schedule, and then I wind up having to, like, completely change it, like, 5 times.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I would love to do Hall H, and I was able to do Hall H last year when there was hardly any line unexpectedly at one point,
Yeah.
but you just don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, and that's one of the big reasons, too, why we always suggest, like, even if you think you know what your schedule is, like, have a backup. List out some smaller panels that you'd like to go to if you don't happen to make it into that, or if at the last minute something totally random but awesome happens that changes up your whole plans, like, have a backup.
Mm-hmm.
Good idea.
Or 5.
Thank you, the disembodied voice of James Riley.
All right, let's go on to Sarah. What are you most excited for?
Well, aside from Backstreet Boys, clearly, that's my number one.
I saw Nick Carter tweet today, right? Is it? Am I right?
I don't know. I don't
There was
follow.
something about
Okay, so
canceling his
yeah, I guess it
panel.
got canceled and then it got uncanceled.
Good.
I don't know. But he's
Yeah.
still going to be there.
Okay.
But a lot of us didn't even know he wasn't going to be there.
Yeah, I hadn't
Yeah,
heard
I
that
didn't
at
know. I
all.
didn't hear that. Well, good. I'm glad he's gonna be there. I mean, other than that, and that's not even like it's fun, but it's not the greatest thing. I did get tickets to Conan on Saturday, kind of a last minute thing. I got an email, so that's actually pretty exciting. And other than that, like, there's not a ton this year that I'm super excited about. I'm mostly just excited to see my friends and hang out.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, this is the only time of the year I see a lot of you. So
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
person.
Those
So-
Conan tickets are a real get though, because that's the
Mhm.
mystery day.
Yeah.
I know.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
So I hope
Yeah.
it's good. And I hope we get a Funko. That's what I'm really excited about too.
I
Funko
know.
Pop.
It's going to be really interesting on Wednesday because what I want to know with those Funkos is, are they giving them to everybody who attends, or is it just like select people? So I'm really curious to see how that works.
I would hope they would give one to every attendee.
Yeah,
and
I
just
would
have
think
it
so.
random. If that's kind of like the middle of the road best case scenario.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Yeah.
the best case scenario is every attendee gets a set.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think though there's 4 shows and there's 4 Funkos.
So, you
So
may
it would
get
make
one
sense
for
to me to do like a different one for each day.
Yeah.
That would be my guess.
I would think everybody gets at least one. That's usually what they do if you go to a taping like that. If they give you anything, everyone gets at least one of it.
Yeah.
So
Fingers crossed, because I want one of those pretty badly.
All right. So let's move on to Carrie.
I'm with Sarah because she's taking me to Conan. So I'm excited about that. But this is a weird year for me because, like, there's a bunch of stuff that I'm interested in, but nothing that I'm like, I can't live without it if I don't do that, which has actually been kind of awesome because it's freed up my schedule a lot more to kind of be like, I don't have to do this. I don't have to camp out if I don't want to this year for all these panels. I'm excited about Marvel TV. We're going to the Nerd HQ panel for that on Sunday. I'm excited about that. I'm excited about our party.
Oh yeah.
Yes, I'm excited to see all of our readers and throw our $20,000 party and hope that this works out well. I mean, yeah, that's what I'm excited about. So it's going to be a really different Comic-Con for me, though, and I'm excited. I'm excited to actually walk the floor because I feel like
me too.
I feel like I never do that enough.
Yeah.
Also, because I get claustrophobic after an hour in there, so we'll see if I'm so excited once I step onto the floor. But for now, that's what I'm excited about. What about you, James?
Well, I was trying to, since I'm a disembodied head, I was trying to do a screen share of my. Let's see if I can get it done here. No, I cannot. Anyway, I think everyone probably, if they've paid any attention, knows that Star Wars is my top goal, my top thing, and the thing I am most excited for. I was in the panel 10 years, 11 years ago when they announced the the name of the final movie in the trilogy, and just being able to repeat that experience and hope to create something, some new experiences in that room is definitely what I'm looking forward to the most. Second fiddle is of actual panels is probably going to be whichever one wins out in for me, which is going to be either WB or Fox, and depending on what they bring. I think with either one of those, but and then I'm obviously I'm looking forward to being able to just head around and take photos of things, get over to Sideshow and the WB booth and do those things again, and as mentioned before, see everyone in one place that I only get to see maybe once a year, maybe twice.
That's right. Well, since you brought it up, let's veer off topic for just a second because I love to do that. Let's talk about the Fox Hall H panel because they still haven't announced anything
officially.
But we've got quite a few signs of several things that we're pretty darn sure are going to be there. Do you want to talk about it, or do you want me to talk about it? What do you want to do?
You can start us off, and I will add disembodied commentary.
That is so kind of you. So I would say with about 99.9% accuracy that X-Men Apocalypse is going to be there. Bryan Singer posted on Instagram that he was hoping he could bring some stuff to show you in Hall H from X-Men Apocalypse, and then Chris Hardwick replied to him and basically said, like, yeah, I'm moderating the panel, see you there, and had a photo of himself in a Magneto helmet, so that's pretty much going to be there. Yeah, basically all but within title, it's been confirmed. But there's a whole bunch of stars that we know already in town. Jennifer Lawrence is there, Sophie Turner's there, Evan Peters, possibly Oscar Isaacs for Star Wars, and then we'll talk about this a little bit more in a minute, or we'll talk about it now. So the Wrap posted a screenshot of Entertainment Weekly's party guest list, and it included some very interesting names, including James McAvoy. So, So I would expect him there for that. We know that the Maze Runner is going to be there because author James Dashner tweeted, going to SDCC 2015 on Saturday, we'll be in Hall H at 5:45 p.m.
Hey.
Cool. So,
That's cool.
Based on the Nerd HQ panel list, it'll be Dashner, Dylan O'Brien, Ki-Hong Lee, Thomas Brody Sangster, Rose Salazar, and Giancarlo Esposito, as well as the director, which is Wes Ball. Hitman, Agent 45, is more than likely going to be there.
47 or 45?
47. My bad. I'm not a gaming person. I think this is a game. Hitman, Agent 47. Maybe. Yeah. But Zachary Quino is in town, Rupert Friend, Hannah Ware, pretty sure that's going to be there. And then the Fantastic Four. So that the Wrap screenshot also included Jamie Bell, who's in the Fantastic Four.
Mm-hmm.
So that would make sense.
And so the only missing one that has even had any kind of leaked information is Deadpool, which is the one that I think everyone is really looking forward to.
Yeah. I know. I did a post the other day on, like, what are the odds? And I'm like, this is either the worst or the best kept secret of Comic-Con this year, because it's the thing that, like, I have not heard anything leaked on this at all.
Right.
But everybody's assuming it's going to be there, because it has to be, right?
It kind of has to be, yeah. And this may be the thing where Fox is just trying as hard as they can to keep Deadpool quiet and letting some of these other things go to kind of just like, okay, people, you got your little scoop. We're going to let you have it. But they're like iron grip on the Deadpool information because that is the one that they know that's going to bring down the house.
Yeah, it really is. We're also pretty darn sure that Victor Frankenstein is going to be there because, like we said, not only is James McAvoy there, but we also know, thanks to Nerdist, that Daniel Radcliffe is there. And if you've got your 2 stars for an upcoming movie, why in God's name would you not throw them up on the Hall H stage?
Right.
Especially since Daniel Radcliffe isn't there to promote anything else.
Although if you would talk to, what is it, not Lionsgate, but the other one, Summit, then they would answer the question, why wouldn't you put your stars on the Hall H stage? Because they've done that.
Yeah. You can tell from my tone how impressed I am. And then there's also The Martian. Do you want to talk about this, James?
Well, we have the executive producer and writer of the novel both on a couple of NASA panels, and there's just really no reason why they wouldn't have a panel for it with them. When they're in town, why wouldn't you have at least someone show up to do something with it, like premiere a new trailer?
Yeah, well, and it's also worth mentioning, I mean, a couple of the stars are either already there or possibly there. Like, we know Jessica Chastain is there for Crimson Peak.
Right.
I think Kate Mara could potentially be there pretty easily for Fantastic Four. And, I mean, who knows I have no idea what Matt Damon is doing this week, but maybe he could be
He's
there.
heading to Comic-Con on Saturday.
That's right.
He has a ponytail now. Did you see that?
You know what? You know what would be awesome? Because we basically know that Ben Affleck's going to be there for Batman vs Superman, right?
Yeah, we do.
I really, really hope that maybe Damon and Affleck and maybe Smith can get together and do something really stupid while they're going around Comic-Con just for fun.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. If they're all 3 going to be in town, they need to do something.
Yeah. That's
Get
right.
back together.
That'd be awesome. So that's The Martian is basically our dark horse. I mean, I don't think the odds are great for it showing up, but at the same time, I feel like there's enough evidence that like it would make sense. So I'm really curious to see what winds up happening with that Fox panel.
Right.
Okay. Sorry, I veered that totally off track. Checking if there's any comments. Since we're off track already, let's take this one. Scott Mueller asked, did you find out what is happening on 2nd and J Street? Is that the one we found out about today, Kim? You know downtown better than I do.
What's the one we still don't really know about, but we have some information where we think it's gaming and possibly escape rooms.
Oh, let's just say it.
Go ahead.
You do it. It's the podcast. Like, you people who listen, you get inside info. It's Encompass. I have no idea what Encompass is. I have no idea what they're doing beyond what she just said, but there you go. That's what that is. If we get more information, we will share it.
Do we know what Encompass is? No.
I have no idea what Encompass is.
Okay, so we're going to research this and get back to everyone.
I just know it's their event. So there you go. All right, James, you want to get us back on track?
Back on track. That means we are going to now talk about what you hope is going to be at Comic-Con that hasn't been announced, which we kind of just did with the X-Men panel for that particular panel. But
yeah,
in
sorry
general,
about that.
Don't worry about it. In general, it's so it wasn't really off track. It was just like a really good segue. Carrie, what are you most excited about possibly happening, or something that you hope happens at Comic-Con?
We already kind of talked about it, but since Sarah and I are going to that Conan show with the secret mystery guest, I really just want somebody that I care about there. I'm rooting very hard for Star Wars or X-Men, but I'm curious to see what that is. What about you, James? I mean, what are you hoping for?
My main thing that is not known is probably the reveal with cast in attendance of the entire Justice League for the DC movies. The Avengers moment back in 2010 was pretty spectacular, and I would like to see. I mean, I know it's technically copying, but I think that DC could get a lot of really good publicity and goodwill by bringing out the entire cast of the Justice League. That's probably the main thing that's not been announced or we don't know about. But, obviously Deadpool, which we already talked about. The rumors going around, I think, on Entertainment Weekly and a few other places are that Star Wars will not be bringing any new footage from the movie.
Yeah, what do you think of that?
I am mostly okay with that if we get cast. And I am completely okay with that if we get the big three from the original movies, the big three from the new movies, and then any other cast that may be at the con or even more. I think they might have also mentioned that maybe they'll be bringing behind-the-scenes footage, which I think is fine. Showing some making of, that's great. But if they bring Ford and Hamill and Fisher and the other three, Isaacs and I'm losing nerd cred here, but Bodega and Ridley. If they bring all 6 of those, plus Gwendolyn Christie's in town, plus Abrams and Kasdan and Kennedy, I mean, that's a really awesome Star Wars panel. And as a photographer, I will not care if they show 1 single second of footage if the entire panel shows up.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I feel like they know they have to bring it. So even though Entertainment Weekly is reporting no footage, I don't feel like that means it's not going to be a good panel by any stretch of the imagination. I think people should go in there expecting to be wowed, and I think that's going to pay off.
Right. I mean, look at the Celebration panel. They showed the new teaser, which was really awesome. But I mean, they spent an hour with the cast and BB-8 and showing some behind the scenes and some stills, and it was incredible. And it was just like the trailer was just the icing on the cake at the very end. And I mean, you can watch that on YouTube. It's gonna be if we see an early trailer, unless they give us something that no one else can see, like what they did a couple of years ago for the original Godzilla teaser. I don't think that ever really made it out. There's been a few things here and there that just have never been seen before, but 99% of the stuff you see will be seen again within a few months of Comic-Con. So bringing the cast for me is much more important.
Yeah, I agree completely with that. Sarah, what about you? I mean, what are you rooting to happen this year?
Most of the panels that I'm going to, they've already said what's going to be there, so there's not a lot of mystery other than the Conan guests for Saturday. But I'm hoping I'm going to go to the WB screening Saturday night, and so I hope the casts come out for those shows. Have they confirmed that? I think it's just
Not really a
up
whole
in the
lot
air. We're
confirmed.
assuming they might show up, so I hope that happens. But otherwise, I mean, I kind of know who's going to be there on my panels that I'm going to, because I do a lot of Ballroom 20. So.
Well, but even beyond that though, I mean, what are you hoping to get out of the convention this year?
I do hope I can go to the floor more, because last year I only had two days. I didn't have a full 4-day ticket, and so I barely got to go on, and I barely got to see anything. So I'm gonna hopefully be able to see a lot more this year, but who knows? It's always, you never know what you're gonna find. So I'd like to explore the outside Comic-Con stuff a little more too, but I never do that either. So
Well,
there's so much.
Well, I think we know somebody who does.
Yes. Yeah, Kim, what do you think?
I don't know.
So eloquent.
What was the question? What are we?
What are you excited about this year? Just what are you hoping to get out of the convention this year?
Oh.
What are you hoping is announced that hasn't been announced, or anything like that?
That's so hard, and I wasn't prepared for this, and I apologize. What's been announced that? I don't know.
I want to know what it
encompasses. Come back to me later.
I want to know what it encompasses.
Yeah, well, that's what I've been researching. Sorry, I've been distracted.
Do you have an answer?
I still don't know. No, I have no answers. So a lot of the mystery is seeing like I said, what's popping up around downtown. So I'm so excited to go down there Wednesday and I guess, Thursday and into the week as I can get to things and see what, FX is bringing. Sean Parks and Cons posted a few things today, and sneak peeks of what's going up there. And as far as stuff that hasn't been announced, I have no idea.
That's okay. I mean, the cool thing about us, I think, is that, like, we all go there for different things. So, like, you don't necessarily go to Ballroom 20 panels, but you've been to way more of the off-site things than I have,
Yeah, and I remember, I haven't been to Ballroom 20 in a few years now, but that's kind of funny. But I know the moment, now we're there's the playback room, and maybe we're leading towards panels being streaming in the future from Comic-Con, and their deal with Legendary?
Yeah.
And you still don't get the same thing. Lionsgate, sorry. You still don't get the same experience as when you're there. Like, I'm sure, when Tom Hiddleston came out in Loki costuming, I kind of got to feel it a little bit because it was on YouTube in the evening, but I'm sure for everyone that was in the room, that was kind of amazing. So that's why people line up for that. And I have no idea what might be, I don't know.
That's kind of
I go with the flow.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing about with you, especially in being the outside Comic-Con, kind of that's your thing with the parties and the events and the signings and the activations, they like to call them, is just being in a good place at the right time to get something really cool that happens that can only happen at Comic-Con.
Right.
I mean, a lot of the stuff that's in the convention itself is planned and it's on a schedule, where so much of the stuff that happens outside the convention is just fly by the seat of your pants. And just having the random stuff happen to you, that's awesome.
And we have a few things this year that we know about that people need to keep an eye out for, like the clowns from American Horror Story and the Gotham Penguins. And something about Wi-Fi. Carrie, what was that?
You're really going to make me talk about this?
Yes, I'm totally making you talk about it.
Okay, so in what is truly the most random Comic-Con news that I have heard in a very long time, Turner Broadcasting is bringing Colonel Sanders Wi-Fi statues to the gas lamp. Your guess on that is as good as mine. I didn't include this earlier in my write-up, but just so you all know, each of these statues will feature Sanders' iconic smile and traditional white suit, with 6 dressed in eclectic cosplay attire, including a vampire, a unicorn, a Martian, a werewolf, an anime character, and a furry.
Okay, this is
so excited.
Absolutely the most random branding I think Comic-Con has ever seen, but
I just don't understand.
They're all in on this.
Wi-Fi.
That's got to be like, there's got to be a hashtag, and everybody's got to like post their selfies with these statues or something.
Yes,
did they say there's a hashtag to use?
That is exactly what it is. So you can actually win some free stuff if you tweet with the hashtag Colonel Sanders.
That's awesome.
On social media. So go take a selfie with furry Colonel Sanders and tweet it out, and you might win some stuff. So there you go. There has been your Comic-Con tip.
You know what's a hard word to spell? Colonel.
Colonel. Colonel, for those of you who don't know. So,
See if anyone has done it yet.
As Scott Mueller just said, you can win a Robot Chicken t-shirt.
I think there's your connection. Chicken. Right?
So Turner Broadcasting is bringing a KFC.
Well, I had heard something a while back that KFC they're bringing back Colonel Sanders as their mascot, so it's probably just maybe this is their launch.
Well, it is, and he's played by Daryl Hammond from Saturday Night Live.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There you go. Maybe he'll be there. There's also a Colonel Sanders comic book at the convention, but I don't remember any details beyond that. So
Did you ever
can.
think you would say those words? Sanders comic book.
I said Colonel Sanders and furry in the same sense a minute ago. So let's just put things into perspective.
And let's all realize that this is what happens, and I'm sure a lot of anyone watching is experiencing the kind of euphoria that you get right before convention where you're trying to get 5 billion things done. You're trying to...
You call it euphoria, I call it stress and anxiety.
Okay.
I call it the reason we're drinking.
It leads to madness is what happens. So,
Basically.
you know.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. No, it's definitely something that kind of fuels the entire week. It just starts going and just doesn't stop.
It's just an avalanche.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
You're just like one step ahead of it the whole week.
Yep.
So all you can do is get your schedule as set as possible with your backup things. I just try to list everything out, day and time, and several options. If I don't get into one thing, I can go over and do this other thing, or keep an eye out for things outside that I want to attend.
Right.
That's the way you gotta do it. I feel like I always feel so bad every year when we see like so many new people who just like want to do it all, and I'm like, you can't. You can't do it all. You just kind of have to work out your schedule as best as you can and hope that you hit as many.
I think one of the best things to do, and Carrie taught me this, is you have on your schedule, like we color code it, and you have your must do, like the one thing you want to do that day. Then you have the second best thing, and then you have this would be nice too, and then you kind of, if we have time, kind of, you list things out so in case, because if you get them all, that's awesome. But if you don't, as long as you get that one, hopefully, then you're okay.
Yeah, that's the way I always view it. And I always try to view like my time as well, because even though like I may want to do something so badly, like is it worth 8 hours of my life? So you always kind of have to weigh that expectation as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and is it worth missing the other things you could be experiencing?
Right.
Which is a lot here.
So hopefully you've all started your schedules and your spreadsheets or your calendars or however it is that you are keeping track of all things Comic-Con.
Started them today. My official schedule keeper is hard at work on that.
Nice.
Yes. I'll have to fill it in with stuff I want to do. That's because Beth is going to Nerd HQ for a couple of days. We managed to snag a few tickets. And I'll be going and doing photos on the floor, and maybe I'll go track down all of those Colonel Sanders.
There you go.
I have a new goal. I'm not kidding.
To find the Colonel Sanders?
Yes.
Find all 6 of them.
Do
It's gonna happen.
It's a race.
That's right. That's right. It's just so random.
Besides the just get your schedule done and such, is there any other last-minute tips that we can pass on while we're still coherent, mostly?
I have one. I remember this today. Last year, I didn't bring any sunblock because you think you're going to be inside the whole time, and I burn easy, and I got a little bit of sunburn. So you actually will likely be outside walking around. You might be in a line if you're doing the off-site stuff. So put some sunblock on, and bring mints because you never know who you're going to talk to.
Yeah.
I don't want to smell bad.
Just as a sunblock thing, don't forget that over in the Bayfront lawn.
Oh yeah, the FX.
One of the FX is bringing one of the stations is going to be a sunblock station, so they may be giving out free sunblock.
Nice.
That's right.
So if you forget it, it's available over there.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Kim, do you have any last-minute tips? No.
Just remain calm. Everyone remain calm. It'll be okay and a whole lot of fun.
That's
Yes.
right.
Carrie?
I mean, for those of us who are traveling from out of town, I always play out at the crack of dawn because I hate my life. I always physically write down like all the last minute things I need to grab. So like my makeup, my chargers, my laptop, whatever, just so that way at like 4 a.m. I don't forget something horribly important. So
Yeah, since we started traveling a lot more for the different conventions, we actually have a basic spreadsheet that has everything on it that we take normally to every convention, and we just create a new one for every single convention and make sure that we have all of the basics so we don't forget anything.
that's what you have to do, because there's so much stuff that you might forget. You know, like even Sarah, like yesterday was like, I need a poster tube. What do I do? You know, so there's just so much last minute stuff that like, yeah, and especially at this point, like who has time to go out and go buy a poster tube? So.
Yeah, the one thing I forgot is we're going out right after this podcast and we're going to go buy sleeping bags because we don't have any for the Hall H line. Although I'm hoping that at least one of those nights I actually get to sleep in the bed I'm paying for.
That would be nice.
Where we can have someone waiting in line for us. But yeah, that's going to be fun.
So one of the tips that I had was to get one of those like cheap inflatable like floating rafts like for the pool or the beach. But can you use those now in Hall H? Because it said no, you couldn't bring any cots or anything. But you think you could bring a small inflatable?
Because it just has to take up the space of a sleeping bag. You can only take up the space of one sleeping bag per person. So if you are sleeping on top of that with your sleeping bag, I don't think it's going to be a problem.
And there's people every year who have those out there, so I don't think
there's camping things you can buy that are like foam, but they expand. So you kind of release it and it expands, and it is the size of a sleeping bag. Although I'm sure a sleeping bag on grass would be just fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least you get grass.
I've slept on
we
the
get
grass.
Cement.
Or the cement portion.
And it's not bad.
I actually have a tip about sleeping bags. It's not the most economical tip, but if you're like me and you just buy like the cheapest sleeping bag every year, like after you're done camping out, consider instead of bringing it home and having it take up like half of your suitcase, just go find somebody who needs a sleeping bag that night because they're camping out for Hall H or Bottom 20 or whatever and they don't have one, and just go give it to them. That way you clear up space in your suitcase. You're down like what, $15, and you just made somebody's night a whole lot easier.
Yep. Definitely.
So I try to do that every year.
And speaking of giving things away too, I did want to bring up the Hard Rock Cafe's comic book drive for the U.S. Marines that started today, and is going until Sunday, I think, at least. But the first 400 people who donate get a lanyard that allows for discounts at the cafe. But it's just a great way to get rid, throw some stuff in your suitcase if you're flying in and need stuff to give away.
Do you know where you physically donate those? Is that over at
the cafe? Yeah, Hard Rock Cafe on 4th Street, 4th Ave.
Nice. And we know what the cafe is going to be this year, don't we?
So this is the Hard Rock Cafe.
Oh, never mind.
The restaurant, not the hotel.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So they're still, I'm sure they'll be decorated out for Comic-Con. But you are speaking of Mary Jane's Cafe.
Yes, I am.
Yeah. Yeah, and that is that me? I'm doing that right.
Go for it.
Yeah. That's going to be Sci-Fi's The Expanse. And we've got on the blog, Sean from Parks and Cons was out there today and took a lot of pictures of they've got all the decals set up, and it's pretty cool looking. I haven't watched that show, but I always loved what they do with that cafe. I used to love the Cafe Diem one. That was my favorite. That was pretty cool from Eureka. So go check that out.
I always love what Sci-Fi does with that place.
Yeah.
Like, it just looks so cool.
I just love theme stuff, so it's always really fun.
Yeah.
Well, my final tip is, I would say, Sean tweeted it earlier, be nice, have fun, be courteous and respectful whenever possible, have fun, and enjoy the madness that is Comic-Con, because we only get it once a year. We are one out of what, every 10 people who want to go get to go. At least 1 out of every 10 people who want to go get to go. Probably much higher odds. So enjoy the experience. Be grateful for the experience, even though we have to pay for the experience. And anything that you can do to make your day or someone else's day better, make that choice. And
I think
everyone will have a great time.
I think it's the best tip there possibly is, James.
That's very
And,
nice. Thank you, Sean, for that sentiment.
yeah.
That's
Are you
right.
crying, Carrie?
No, I've been awake far too long.
Faring well for this week.
So,
Yeah.
Okay, so are there any questions that we should answer that are specific for something, or just a general question?
Well, I was gonna address this. So Scott Mueller asked, "What time the everything else lines start to get long?" If we could answer that, Scott, we would. I don't know. We could win the lottery. Like, we won't know until it happens, I think. What do you think, James?
That's basically the Ballroom 20 show floor line. That's the everything else line.
Yeah.
It's going to differ based on what's in Ballroom 20 each day. That's what's going to make the change as to how long it's going to be. The people hunting exclusives will make that line a certain length every day, because they're just going to keep trying to get those exclusives every day. So that's the same number of people basically every single day. So just judge it based on what's in Ballroom 20, and on the days where you think there's going to be a very busy day in that room, the line will start earlier.
Yep. All right. Mike Nelson said next year people will be waiting in a Hall H line for KFC swag. You might be right.
Could be. That
Could.
comic book could take off.
That's right. All right.
Yeah, the Scott mentioning that just because it's cloudy doesn't mean you're not going to get burned. Remember that.
Yeah, and Kim, didn't you say it kind of rained a little bit today?
Yeah, and it's supposed to rain tomorrow a little bit. So just
Pack an umbrella.
An umbrella just in case, or a light jacket. I mean, it's not, it's just spitting. It's not hardly anything, but it's rain for San Diego, so that's kind of unusual. We had thunder last week, and there was thunder, and there was a thunderstorm last year. So just be prepared with your packing.
Yeah, if you're going to be waiting in line for any significant amount of time in the day before, you're going to want to bring an umbrella or something anyway to just keep the sun off of you, because during the day it typically does get pretty warm. Even on a gentle sunlit day in San Diego, it's still direct sunlight for hours. So be prepared.
That's right.
Okay, I think that's about it for any Q&A. Do we want to go around any of the major news items? Or is it pretty much just there's so much going on, let's just
we can talk a little bit about some of the really last minute stuff. So if you haven't seen, Fox's autograph and booth schedule got announced. And basically the way that they do it is they only announce who is signing on what days. They don't announce the physical times, which does make planning your schedule a little bit harder, because you won't know the times until you show up in sales in the morning to draw for ticket for that. But if that's something you're interested into, basically plan on devoting a large chunk of your time to that. Marvel announced their many exclusives today, which I don't know if you guys have looked through, but it's 40 awesome T-shirts and some other stuff.
I saw the T-shirt.
Yeah.
And I'm like, really?
Yeah. They look really cool. I really like the sheer stuff. And it's I've actually never done the Marvel booth. I wouldn't mind. I have a feeling though this is all going to sell out very quickly. We're still the only huge thing I know of that we're waiting on still is WB's autograph schedule, but I'm like 90% certain they did this last year too, and they announced it like the day before Comic-Con. So I would expect that tomorrow.
There you go.
Yeah. So that's like the really big stuff. Oh, so we had no idea there was going to be a Walking Dead offsite, and then like it just kind of popped up today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that for a second. The offsites, I mean, the offsites have been good, and they've added a lot of diversity and a lot of things going on, but is everybody impressed with what's going on this year on the offsites? I mean, does it seem like it's expanding, getting bigger and better? Same? I mean...
It's hard to tell until we see it in person, but just from walking around there yesterday, which it seemed a little early for things being set up, so it seems like they might need more time to set up, which bodes well for what's going on. And then from Sean's pictures today, Parks and Cons, it looks like we've got some good stuff to look forward to.
Yeah,
I think that FX thing is going to be awesome this year.
Yeah. And they're picking up a lot of space.
Yeah, it's been really interesting to me for this year because since we cover so much of the con, like sometimes it's almost more interesting just for the like behind the scenes stuff than it is the actual stuff. But I think it's really interesting that FX is taking over that spot since it's usually Warner Brothers who has that Bayfront lawn. And then Adult Swim is moving behind the convention center instead of Petco Interactive. So it's just things are going to be in different places this year, which it makes it a little more visually interesting sometimes.
Yeah. It can get a little boring if they just put the same thing in the same spot year after year.
Yeah, so I'm glad things are kind of changing up a little bit this year. I'm excited about that.
And I think the tradition kind of started shifting when LawnCon was just those big balloons and Legos that were all just set up in kind of a static display. And then last year it became the Gotham zip line, which was a lot more interactive and something fun to do. And now you're going to have this FX obstacle course or whatever it's going to be. So definitely giving us more to do. And Walking Dead Escape probably helped pioneer that when they moved in and started doing the obstacle course for the zombies and such there.
Well, that lawn has been several different things. I think it was back in 2011 or 12 when Warner Brothers had that stage set up, remember, where they were doing interviews? Yeah. And then I think the very next year they had like the big Teen Titans Go balloons. We were all kind of like, that's it?
Yeah. It's like, hey, you walk by, look, there it is. Okay, moving on.
Yeah.
It looked cool, but didn't do anything.
Where's the stage, guys? Yeah, so I'm glad somebody... Yeah, the Batmobile one was awesome. But I'm glad somebody else is utilizing that space this year, and it's just fun when things are a little bit different. So.
Yeah. Definitely is.
Yeah.
That's really is it for the big news. There's still some exclusives being announced here and there, like the BBC shop. Funko announced their booth procedures.
Yep. Lego also announced today their release schedule, which is not totally what people thought it would be. So like I think the minifigures are always based on a schedule, right? So like they give out one minifigure Friday, one minifigure Saturday, that kind of thing, right?
Right.
You know? Okay.
That's what it's usually.
Yeah, but they're doing that this year with the exclusives. And so like they're only doing one exclusive on Friday, one exclusive on Saturday. So I think that's going to change up a lot of people's plans.
That's because typically you could just try again the next day if you didn't get it the one day.
Yeah.
But now it's people are going to have to go all in for each one.
Yeah. So I think that threw a huge wrench in a lot of people's plans today when we found that out. That's pretty big.
I feel for you who are exclusive hunting. That sounds like it's going to be just more hurdles and more crowds, and no thanks. I like
I
my
agree.
lines static.
I agree. I agree.
Wait.
Okay.
Well,
Well, I think that about does it unless you have anything else you want to cover.
anyone else? No? I see shaking heads. Okay. Yeah, I think we're done. I think we're basically it's time to go and start doing all the final prep.
That's right. Go make your spreadsheet, Kim.
Okay. I'm on it.
All right. So, as always, actually, Carrie, why don't you handle what's coming up in 2 days as well?
So in 2 days, we have Enchantment Under the SDCC. You guys have absolutely no idea how much stuff we have for you. Like, how many boxes do you think we have, Kim?
There's at least 20. There's probably more than that.
And we're not talking small boxes.
No, these are gigantic boxes. Thank you to all the sponsors that have sent me things.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much to all of our sponsors. It's going to be an awesome party this year, guys. So those of you who bought tickets, we cannot wait to hang out with you. 2 more days. It's going to be awesome. And if you did not receive your barcode yet, please make sure that you contact Sarah.
Yes.
Which basically the way to do that is to email us at sdcomiccon.blog@gmail.com and we'll get that to her.
Yeah, or you can tweet me or DM me your email that it's under, and we'll work it out. But just contact us so we know that you need it. You know. Otherwise, if you show up with your name or your ID, if it's under your name, you'll be fine. But if somebody else bought it and it's under their name, and you don't have a ticket, your barcode, then you're not gonna be able to get in. So make sure you do that.
Yep. And we'll see you there. And as we've been, Kim has mentioned a few times, Sean from Parks and Cons, Sean and Carmela are down there walking around and getting all those pictures of the setups. And I think we might even be having one coming in soon, yet another setup that's going up. But check them out, parksandcons.com or at parksandcons on Twitter. They always, and I think they're doing Parks and Cons drops too throughout the convention.
Yes.
Leaving little gifts in random places, so if you pay attention, they will. You'll be able to figure out where things are, and maybe you'll get a freebie here and there.
That's right.
So keep an eye on that. Kim, what else is something that we need to remind everyone?
Wow.
What?
I'm not prepared for that.
Who has the outline?
Okay, so we have an autograph post that's updated daily.
And we are going to update it through tomorrow.
Yeah. Who knows what time tomorrow?
Thank you, Lisa.
Yeah. Pretty
little
much.
Unicorn.
Yeah, pretty much you can expect all of our news during the convention will basically be on Twitter.
Yes.
So if you're expecting a whole bunch of posts on our site, you can find what was written by tomorrow.
A lot of us traveling either super early Wednesday morning or throughout the day Wednesday. I don't think anyone's traveling tomorrow night, so we'll try and get as much done through tomorrow night as we can. But from late Tuesday night on until the convention ends, go to Twitter and Facebook and wherever else that we are updating on social media, but mainly Twitter.
Go to Twitter. Don't go to
Yeah.
Facebook.
Yeah.
And
you can
actually remembers it's going to be on Twitter only, so go to Twitter.
You can
and just follow us along there. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say you can still sign up for our newsletter. We'll have one more going out tomorrow, and then we'll probably have a couple after the convention. And then we usually take a break when things die down, but then we'll start up again next year as soon as the news starts coming. So you can sign up on the blog on the sidebar. There's a little space to do that.
Yes, indeed. As always, any news bits can be found in our Under the Tents column. We posted one today. We're probably going to do one final one tomorrow. And then we usually do like a couple post-con ones that kind of just wrap up a couple things. But yeah, there you go.
All right. So be sure to check out the show notes for more information about our sponsor, 3D Light Effects, and their brand new line of Star Wars cordless 3D Deco Lights, and watch the Parks and Cons review. Sarah.
You can also find them at Comic-Con. They have a booth. Just
Yes,
FYI.
they do. And they might even have some sneak peeks of their upcoming stuff that they're doing.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Sarah, where can we find more of your work on the internet?
You can find me at Slash Station on Twitter, and I will maybe be posting throughout the convention. I always say I'm gonna, and then I do twice and forget to do the rest of it. So, but just follow Carrie; she has it all. So, and Kim, what about you? Where can we find you online?
I'm at Outside Comic Con, as it says below. Well, there may be people just listening. So, Outside Comic Con, and Twitter will be the place. I apologize for anyone on Facebook.
Yeah, Twitter's where the cool kids go. That's right. So, no, Twitter's totally where the cool kids go. So you can find me on Twitter at Carrie Dixon. You can also find me manning the blog's Twitter at SD_comic_con. And you can find all of our work for at least the next 24 hours at SDCCblog.com. And James, where can we find more of your work on the internet?
I am on Twitter and Flickr and Tumblr and who knows where else. Periscope. I will be periscoping from the con this year at Dan Regal. So follow me on any of those if you want to get some updates. Instagram, all that. You can check out our website, geekshotphoto.com. That's where my wife and I post our stuff occasionally, but social streams, of course, are it. And all of us will be manning the blog Twitter, so you will be able to get updates as often as all of us can throughout the day and night from wherever we are hanging out. So because we have all these varied interests, we are hoping to cover most of the convention in some way.
It will be like we're everywhere.
I have an idea. What if people who get our shirt, our hashtag shirt, should take pictures with Colonel Sanders and tag us in it so we can see him?
Yes.
For sure. This
Do
needs to
that.
happen.
Please do that. Please do that. All right. So we're on iTunes. If you'd like to subscribe, the links are up on the blog or search for SDConCast. If you like what you heard so far, please review us. We are also on Stitcher Radio. The link is in the show notes.
And if you want to get a hold of us, you can send us an email at sdcomiccon.blog@gmail.com or find us on Facebook at facebook.com/sdconblog or tweet us at sd_comic_con. Thank you all for listening. Enjoy your con, and until next week when we do our wrap-up show, whenever we recover, everybody, go
Shawarma!
prepare the spreadsheets.